from that those topics to a heck of a topic here in Jacksonville. And I think it's time to ask, how good is Brian Thomas Jr.? I mean, I think you could have asked that before. We have not seen, I don't think we've seen a player out of the gates like this. I mean, this is really strong stuff.
You're saying in Jacksonville?
In Jacksonville.
Yeah.
In Jacksonville, yeah.
Brent, real quick, I know you don't watch the TV, obviously, but Joe Thomas already said he is one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. One of the best.
Okay, so do you agree with that? Like, that's what I'm not. We can be, and I can be, even sunshine and rainbows. We can be in our own little bubble of, okay, how good's X player, Trevor to Ventrell Miller to Tyson Campbell.
Yeah.
So when we do that, we're always like, we check ourselves almost like, yeah, but it's Jacksonville, not good enough. Like, definitely not that good. Like, Josh Hines-Allen last year was a probably top 3 edge rusher in the league. Yeah. His numbers showed it. He looked like it. The metrics said it. You watched it. All of it. I don't watch enough of the other guys in the NFL on Sundays because we're too busy working. And know if Brian Thomas Jr. right yet looks like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. But I also don't think I see highly paid guys like Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilsons who get a lot of shine. And I'm like, what? This guy looks like he's.
I love the
every bit of those guys
in New York. Better than those guys. You see Garrett Wilson last night? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, though. Those are the guys that people have said. Or let's just take a CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Like CeeDee Lamb is, he looks really good. Well, guess what? Brian Thomas Jr.
So looks
a little CeeDee Lamb-ish to me.
So here's the luxury that the Jacksonville Jaguars have, and it's what we talked about when the season started. Where we didn't expect Brian Thomas Jr. to come in and have to be the guy because you had Evan Ingram, because you had Christian Kirk, because you brought in Gabe Davis. Now, let's keep on. This is the preseason we're talking about here. So you had other weapons. You had Travis Etienne. So it's like, all right, Brian Thomas Jr., you kind of have it made because we're not expecting like this crazy breakout year from you because you don't have to be that guy. Well, he's essentially become that guy because he's that good. Not because he's getting 12, 13 targets a game, because this is like the Malik Neighbors, the Justin Jefferson, the Tyreek Hills, the Jamar Chases. Like, yeah, they're great receivers. You know why? Because they get the ball a lot. Now, they're open, right? So that's a skill set. But, like, see how many times Justin Jefferson gets targeted per game. Like, they take care of him.
It's like a dozen.
Yeah. How many times does Brian Thomas Jr. get targeted a game? Well, it's hard because, we got Evan Ingram we got to feed the ball to. Sometimes Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis in the end zone sometimes.
That's offense, right? I mean, he doesn't feature just one guy.
Correct. Exactly. So, to sum up, to paraphrase everything, the fact that we're having this conversation right now, and he's not even like really, I mean, yes, he's featured, but he's not like the main guy in the offense, I think says all you need to know about how talented this receiver is.
5 for 5, by the way. 5 targets, 5 catches. You know, and they got him involved in the run game too. So give
him 12.
Hey, listen, give him credit to
give him 12 targets.
They tried to give him the run game touches too. Now it didn't really manifest itself, but at least they're trying. So they're trying to get him the ball, which I think showcases a bunch. Hamby, you see the numbers going around, like league-wise, pull up the stats. You don't have to put a picture of it, but it's like, what is he, top 5 in the league now? I think he's like second in the league in touchdowns amongst receivers. This isn't rookies. Like, it started this year about, hey, rookie ranks. Well, rookie ranks, he's number 1 in every category.
Yeah.
But now he's like top 5 with the Chases, with the Jeffersons, with the, you name it, Metcalfs, whoever it is, up there in the top 5. So
he is 5th in receiving yards, and I mean tied for like 10th in touchdowns.
Yeah,
Jamar Chase has 6. A couple guys have 5, and he had a bunch.
Oh,
of
he's tied for 10. Okay.
Do you have a yards per catch?
It's 17.8, I think it is.
But I'm saying like,
18.
I'm saying where he ranks.
Oh, where he ranks
in the NFL.
Yeah, it's got to be right up there.
Let's see.
I saw some comparisons to what he's done as like Ayuk and somebody else. Ayuk last year in 2020, somebody else, I think it was, in terms of yards per catch versus receptions. Yeah, I mean, he's not getting the volume. That's the crazy part. He's just not getting the volume that other guys are getting at this moment. And I'll tell you this, too, speaking of the volume, like the second half of the Miami game, they didn't try to throw. Yesterday, the second half, they didn't try to throw. He's not even getting those like garbage time stuff or anything like that, really, and so far.
9th in yards per catch at 17.1.
What is he, 9th?
I thought it'd been a little higher than that.
Who the heck's first?
Yeah,
like,
Pierce, Jamison Williams, Keon Coleman,
Pierce,
AJ
that's his whole
Brown.
game.
Pierce because of this.
That's the well, no, yeah, pretty
one
much.
quarter. Sorry, go ahead. Who
AJ
else?
Brown 4, Jalen Naylor at 5, Nico Collins, Rashid Shaheed, Jordan Addison, BCJ.
She's done. He's out for the season now, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's done.
Well, Nico, of course, too.
Oh yeah. That's a
So,
good point.
but
And if I had to guess, Jalen Naylor probably doesn't reach the minimum requirements.
yeah,
The
probably
Vikings
not.
guy, but
Well, they got two guys with Addison and him.
yeah.
How about that?
That's what we call the Sam Darnold effect.
So here's what I like about this, Austin.
Yeah.
The eyes say it, the numbers say it. And even if you want to go deeper numbers, they say it. So, like, I'm not always a big stat. I love stats. I'm just not always shaping the narrative around. I think they can tell funny stories. But then you look at the metrics, and sometimes the metrics will be goofy. Like, if you really want to look at the best quarterback rankings of yesterday, Deshaun Watson was like 5th before he went out of the game. Like, it's like, yeah, right. You wouldn't say that, right?
Correct.
So, like, the numbers can sometimes be really goofy. But when the eye test matches the stats and the numbers, well, now to me, you've got like that trifecta. And then if you want to add one in, like what people are saying about them. And now you get Doug saying yesterday, well, we got to keep scheming them. Got to keep scheming them. What is Doug? Was that? We got a guy, right?
Yeah.
That means we got a guy if we're going to keep scheming them. So it's not just let the offense run through and hopefully get it to him. It's no, we got to get it to him.
Yeah.
So it's a real deal, man. I just don't know how good he is. It's hard to say it 7 games in, but it looks like they found themselves an elite player in the first round.
Let me ask. I mean, and we'll see the whole Doug Peterson thing, but like a couple years from now, like, are we? I guess what I'm trying to say is like, do we have our Justin Jefferson now? Like, do we have like our Travis Kelce when he was in his prime with the Kansas City Chiefs? Like, do we have the guy now that it doesn't really matter like who you put on him? Like, he's gonna get his 10 targets, 12 targets a game. He's gonna have probably over 100 yards receiving, and he's just gonna be the most dependent thing on your offense. Like, is this what it's gonna turn into?
Yeah, I would say I think so.
Because when have we had that here in Jacksonville the past? I don't know.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you had it in the running back position, right?
Sure.
With Fred and with Mojo. You get them the football. They worked through them. But from a receiving position, Jimmy, I guess. Jimmy would have been the last time.
Yeah.
You're definitely getting him the football. And with the 1-2 punch of him and McCardell. So, yeah, I guess I shouldn't say we haven't had it. We have had it. And it might look a little bit more like that because you had some mouths to feed back then when they were really cooking here in Jacksonville, right? I mean, you had Fred, you had Keenan, you had obviously Jimmy. But again, like, look at these numbers. I mean, the numbers are all good. And what I would say here is he can do more. Here's his targets. 4, 4, 9, 9, 8, 6, 5. Like, there's more out there.
Yeah.
Now, some of the games, they didn't throw it in the second half of Miami, so there go the targets there. They didn't hardly throw it this game, so there go the targets. But, I mean, 8 or 9 targets, like, I guess he has to be getting 8 or 9 targets a game. Mm-hmm. Like, that should now be the number, right? Where you are throwing him the football 8 or 9 times in a game. And that's a minimum. That's what I'm saying. Like, a minimum. If you look up at the stat sheet, you better either have run the ball 40 times like they did yesterday, or you better get him the football 7, 8, 9 times at least, trying to get him the football. And listen, there are other things that happen in the course of putting together roster construction through the good and bad. We've done this many times over the past. What can't be slept on right now in Jacksonville is the fact that Calvin Ridley didn't work out. Mm-hmm. Calvin Ridley not working out set this in motion to happen. And by the way, the Jaguars really did a nice job in that draft. They moved back 6 spots and still got this guy. And the Jaguars and Bulky and the Jaguars organization have not been good at the receiver position, and it looks like they've got a guy. And we're asking how good he is. Like, he's good. We already know that. Like, how soon have you been able to say from a first-round pick, we know he's good? At least in my 16 years here,
well, yeah.
Jalen Ramsey's the only other one.
Etienne, but he was out his first year. But
so you didn't know 7 games. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
How,
I know,
right away.
but when he came in, when Etienne came in, like, you figured, okay, this guy could be special.
No, there's a lot of coulds. I'm saying 7 games into any, I know he's good. Like, I know Brian Thomas Jr. is good.
Yeah.
I've said, listen, man, I'm a positive guy. I've said every first-round draft pick I think could be good. This guy is 7 games in. I'm like, I'm asking the question for real. How good is he? Jalen Ramsey's the only other guy I've done that with Josh Hines Allen. Fine, I could project it.
Yeah, you
not
can
Luke
project
Joko. You could go Dante Fowler, like all these big names. We've had a ton of top picks.
Blackman though too.
Yeah, and I'd have to still go back.
But keep the off the field issues. But I'm saying, like, when he was in, like,
right. We did this the other day.
it was
a couple
different.
Weeks back,
it was different.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's been few and far between.
But Jalen's the only one I locked on. Like, I was like, okay, he's good. I think I'm ready to lock on this dude.
Oh no,
this dude's good.
I'm all in.
7 games in.
We had in question. Who would you compare him to?
Yeah, I'm not good at this.
Does he seem like Nico Collins to you? And I get people like, oh, Nico Collins. Like, if you watch Nico Collins and like what he means to Houston, I feel like it's kind of a similar thing. Very like deep play threats, big play threats, but can also give you like that possession receiver as well. Any route in the route tree.
I'm not good at this.
Hamby, you got anything for me?
Honestly, of the top, 10 receivers, if I had to compare him to one singular guy, I probably put him closer to CD.
That's what I was looking up. 6'2" is CD Lamb. 6'3" is Brian Thomas Jr. I think you can hand the ball off to CD Lamb. I think you can hand the ball off to Brian Thomas Jr. I think the builds are similar. Not like super physical guys, but they actually play more physical than their body presents. Like, to be honest with you, like, Brian Thomas ain't big. Like, he's not like... He's not thick.
He's not no A.J. Brown.
No, he's not. So I think, and CD's kind of the same way, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I did this few weeks back.
You think CeeDee Lamb is like quick? I feel like CeeDee Lamb's a little more possession than he. I get he has explosive plays, but like I don't trust CeeDee Lamb to run a 70-yard goal route and take it to the house.
So would you say Jamar Chase?
That's what I'm saying. Nico Collins.
Well, you are right about CeeDee Lamb's time. He was a 4.51 at the combine.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. Nico Collins, man. I don't even know when Nico ran, but.
But here's the thing about Nico Collins. Again, I don't watch enough of him other than what I see in the Jags game.
He's on my fantasy team doing well for me, so thank you.
By the way, Nico's 4.45 guy. This guy's
okay. So Brian Thomas Jr. is faster than that.
Well, he's faster than a lot of people.
He's a 4.3 guy. That are
a 4.45 is pretty quick. Though,
I'm not saying it's not, but he's not. I mean,
listen to us judging 4.4s.
Hey, Jamar Chase was a 4.38.
Okay, there you go.
Jamar Chase strikes me as A.J. Brown physical too. Like dude. He's big.
He's wide. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of came with you on the CD stuff, but I didn't know CD ran like.
Out of here, man. No Nico.
But see, here's what we saw yesterday, and we saw this against Kansas City in the preseason. This guy can go physically get a football. Mm-hmm. He can wrestle with you for a football. Mm-hmm. When a guy's running 4.33, you don't see that. You're not going to get that from Xavier Worthy, right? Like who's running like by people.
Yeah.
But you're not going to also get that part of the game. The thing I like about BTJ is he can do both. He's going to run by, and it doesn't look fast. That's the thing. People are telling you he's running 22 miles an hour and 21.5 miles an hour. Just watch the route. Does it look fast to you? It doesn't look like that fast. It's so smooth.
Same thing with, but listen, my final answer is Nico Collins. Okay? And I get people in the chat and be like, Nico, like, people aren't ready to have the conversation Nico Collins is like a top 5 wide receiver in the league when he's healthy, but he's getting very close to that point. Just saying.
Yeah, I come with you there.
I've watched some tape.
All right.
Bigger version of Devontae Adams.
All right, let's do this. Take a timeout, and when we come back, a bigger question